Let's now talk about the other key developments that we are tracking. In just a few minutes from now, the so-called economic D-Day for Iran will kick in expectedly, with the US Treasury Secretary set to unveil major economic sanctions on Iran. In fact, Trump claims Iran is completely collapsing. But Tehran asserts that this tactic will fail and threaten to shut down all oil exports from West Asia. So a lot is happening. Without detailing specific measures as such, Besant has signaled that the US would also target nations that practice appeasement by engaging with Iran's economy and financial system. China, though, drawing the red line here, opposing imposition of fresh sanctions against Iran, which it argued would escalate the tensions. It called upon all parties to exercise restraint and return to talks. Listen to this.
Sanctions and pressure will not help resolve the issue. They will only exacerbate tensions and escalate the situation, which is in no one's interest. China calls on all parties to remain rational and exercise restraint, avoid measures that could further intensify differences and conflicts and disrupt global economic development and financial stability, and return to the right track of dialogue and negotiations and a political solution as soon as possible.
Now, why exactly is China's stance so crucial? Let's explain this. According to reports, Beijing helped push Tehran to the negotiating table for a ceasefire in April, being Iran's largest trading partner, which purchases roughly 90% of its crude oil. In fact, China has high stakes in reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Another key question here, can Trump bypass China's opposition and just go ahead with these economic sanctions? You see, since his visit to Beijing in the month of May, the US president has been keen on China buying American soybean oil as well as Boeing jets. For America, China's supply of critical minerals is also vital, as they are essential components in production of weapons which have been depleted by the war. Going against China at this juncture might put all of this at risk. So that's at stake. And it's also worth pointing out here that Xi Jinping is set to meet Trump at the White House in September, remember. And ahead of America's announcement, mediation efforts reportedly continue. The Pakistan Army chief arrived in Tehran, where he met the Iranian interior minister. According to Reuters, Trump spoke to Munir last week, with the US seeking Pakistan's influence to bring Iran back to the talking table. Meanwhile, on the ground, tensions persisted in West Asia. For instance, Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis claiming responsibility for firing a ballistic missile at a Saudi Arabia-flagged tanker in the Red Sea. And this led to a fire breaking out on the vessel. The Houthis declared a maritime blockade of Saudi Arabia last month, remember. On its part, Iran blacklisted 45 tankers for breaking its rules while crossing the Strait of Hormuz, and warned other vessels not to transit the waterway without its permission. It stressed that these vessels could be fined and have their cargo confiscated as well. Additionally, it threatened other countries against joining new US efforts to squeeze Tehran's economy.
In this regard, the necessary warnings have definitely been given, because any complicity with America in carrying out its aggressive actions against Iran will definitely have its own consequences.
Meanwhile, Iran has clarified that it was yet to receive a formal invitation to join the Mecca Defense Pact, which, remember, was signed by Pakistan, Turkey and Saudi Arabia. But very significantly, Tehran did not rule out negotiations with these countries for the overall security of the region. America's fresh threat of economic sanctions, by the way, also coming at a time when the Iranian rial has fallen to a historic low, crossing 2 million rials against the US dollar. And this has raised fresh concerns about inflation, purchasing power, and the Iranian government's ability to stabilize the economy. Food has become very expensive, with the price of rice, for example, up by 60% since the war started. Now, the Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian also acknowledged the issues arising out of the current deadlock. And he linked the MOU with the US to Iran's economic prospects, basically saying that his country was not able to attract investment at present. People on the streets of Iran also expressed their anguish over the current state of affairs.
Naturally, the economic situation of the people has worsened compared to before, and the measures that the government has taken in this regard have had little effect to compensate for the inflation that the country is currently experiencing.
So with both the US and Iran unwilling to really budge from their positions as of now, West Asia continues to remain on edge.